Hi dear students, welcome to the course of Architecture and Town Planning. I am your teacher Ravinder Kumar Khyani, Assistant Professor, Department of Architecture and Planning, NIT University of Engineering and Technology, Karachi, Sindh, Pakistan. Today the topic of discussion is civic survey. What is civic survey? An introduction. There are a variety of survey and mapping techniques to be learned by a civil engineer. Though some of these survey and mapping techniques are already known to a civil engineer, however, it is necessary to understand how different authors explain these techniques because the survey and mapping techniques are always subject to refinement during the course of development and planning. Therefore, let us look at different authors, how they perceive the issue of survey and mapping. Description of surveys by the author John Radcliffe. John Radcliffe in his book says, Introduction to Urban Planning, that in order to understand the society for which planning is to be done, to identify the nexus of needs and problems, to have comprehensive understanding of city elements and their effect upon each other, and to formulate the policies and choose between them or adjust them in practice, a planning engineer must be equipped with a variety of tools and techniques. Because the planning is based upon knowledge, the knowledge depends upon information, and information depends upon survey. Now, the survey of many components of built to natural environment is the main concern in this respect. Here, the big question is, what are those many components for which survey is required? According to Mr. Radcliffe, at first we survey about the physical characteristics, then utilities, then population, then employment, then housing, then shopping, then education, then leisure and recreation, then movement and management, and finally for evaluation. In this way, he defined 11 types of surveys. Now the big question is, what are the available sources of information to carry out these surveys? I believe the first-hand information should be collected by specifically designed survey forms related to specific problems in a precise time from the field. However, due to ever-existing constraints of time and money, this is not always possible. So what do we do in such situation? In that case, the researchers, the student concerned with thesis or project work are usually compelled to depend upon existing sources of information. The existing sources of information are mostly published statistics by the government institutions. There are also other information databases such as individual researches and surveys carried out by some non-governmental institutions. Now the information sources are various, such as each state department and the ministry has facts and figures. Then there is census of population, housing statistics. The Department of Trade and Industry will have the census of distribution and census of production. Then there are library sources, and currently there are different databases available on the internet. Then there is another author, Mr. G.K. Hiraskar, in his book Introduction to Town Planning, he writes, Mr. G.K. Hiraskar defined in his book Town Planning that survey means collection of data and information via site visit and personal observation of the researcher, student, or planner and engineer. Similarly, there is a principle developed by Sir Patrick Geddes. It is one of the pioneers of modern town planning. He says that always survey before plan. The survey leads us to information or knowledge which is used by town planner to prepare a mind map of a region before drawing a plan of a town. The collected data and information through surveys analyzed and presented in the form maps, charts, tables, and models. And there are computer generated models also. At present, there emerge digital maps, aerial photography, and computerized model of surveys which have enhanced the understanding of planners and engineers with accurate information of the site. However, there are certain ground realities which can only be understood through personal site visit by the planners and engineers, known as diagnostic approach or a diagnosis before treatment approach. Types of surveys. Mr. G.K. Hiraskar in his book also classified surveys in four broad types. First is town or city survey. Second is a regional survey. Then third is the national survey. Fourth is the civic survey. What are town surveys or city surveys? These surveys are conducted to prepare a base map for the town planning scheme. Basically, these surveys are of three types: physical survey, social survey, and economic survey. These are the important surveys to be conducted by an urban engineer or civil engineer, a town planner, and an architect. What is physical survey? These are conducted in two ways, through land survey and aerial survey. In physical survey, four types of information or data are collected. First data is to be collected is about natural features, and that is called natural features survey. In this, we look at the location in respect to existing towns and regions, the topography and soil condition and climatology of a site. Then we conduct a land use survey, that is the use of land for residential, commercial or social purposes, public and semi-public spaces, open spaces, transportation networks, agriculture, water elements, vacant lands, and other uses that are available on site. Then comes the building conditions survey. The building condition surveys are considered with respect to buildings, that buildings are in good condition or very good condition or bad condition or poor condition. Then comes the communication survey. Communication means road, railway, waterway, airways. So in this we conduct the survey of highways, roads and its network, and railways junctions and its network, the availability of parking facilities in the city, the origin and destination survey, OND survey, accident survey, and future trends of traffic surveys, etc. Then comes social surveys. Social surveys are of three kinds. First is population, second is housing, and third is community facilities. Population surveys. Population surveys means trends in population growth for last 50 years. What is the current population or present population characteristics? What is the expected future population growth by considering the survival, urban migration, and development of new industries? Similarly, there is a demographic survey, which is basically classification of population and town density. Then comes housing survey. The housing survey includes the survey of housing stock per annum need, means how much is housing available at present time, what is the need of housing per annum based on the population increase, then current housing condition, whether it is in good condition, bad condition, worse condition, what is the accommodation density, how many people are living, people per house, people per room, then building heights, material and tendency, that whether the building is rented or owned. So this is a housing survey that we conduct. Then comes community facilities survey. That is about the education facilities available, the health facilities available, and the recreational facilities available in the neighborhood or in the town. Then comes economic survey. The economic survey is about the occupational conditions, which occupations people have. Then survey of industries, what kind of industries are available, what kind of industries are needed. The survey of commerce, what kind of businesses are going on, how is the commerce, the financial position of the local authorities. For example, if they wanted to make a town or building or improve the existing condition of a city, what is their financial position. Then utilities survey, the water, electricity, gas, telephone, and road network, etc. Then comes the regional survey. The larger scale surveys carried out in different towns and villages to obtain general information about their physical, economic, and social conditions is termed as regional survey. These regional investigations are carried out to develop whole region in a coherent manner. These include the regional transport system, the railway network, the highways, the regional water supply system, the regional sewage system, etc., etc. Then comes national survey. It is conducted at national level. Regional survey is conducted at region level. National survey is the survey which is conducted at national level, which include different regions, and this survey is conducted to obtain information about the natural resources that the country have, the potential for locating industries and fixing railway alignments and doing the hydroelectric works or projects. Then finally comes the civic survey or socio-economic survey. This is a local level small scale survey conducted for redevelopment schemes, slum improvement schemes and master plan development. The redevelopment scheme is of the existing area which we are going to upgrade or renew. Slum improvement schemes are for clearing the slum or improving the slums and making a better housing and public spaces within slum areas and maintaining the building and coloring them and overall improving the built environment. Master plan development is a major exercise of the city in which we look at the overall condition of master plan. You have already gone through the master plan of Karachi and Lahore, and you have seen what kind of surveys are conducted over there about the various sectors of the society and various, you can say, conditions of the society. Then, socio-economic survey is the foundation stone of planning structure or the town planning. It is also known as civic survey and socio-economic survey, where you get the conditions of social and economic level of people. Because it is a detailed house-to-house survey which helps the town planner to diagnose the core problems and issues to develop its remedies through planning. And the basic, you can say, civic survey or socio-economic survey is the census survey, which is of the population where people go to house for surveying their people's names, conditions, overall culture, society, their ethnic background, their education facilities, their children, their elders, and overall families and family characteristics. There are 11 types of aspects covered in the socio-economic survey. First is the physical feature survey. Second is the communication survey. Third is the traffic problem survey. Fourth is open space survey. Fifth is industrial survey. Sixth is housing survey. Seventh is landscape survey. Eighth is population survey. Nine is public services survey. 10 is land cultivation survey. And 11 is health conditions survey. So in physical features survey, we look at the physical features of the settlements, of the housing, of the public spaces, of the social spaces, and the building conditions. In communication survey, we look at the infrastructure projects such as the condition of the road, condition of the water supply, condition of the sewerage, condition of the solid waste management, and overall physical appearance of beauty of the city. Then traffic problem survey include the places or bottlenecks in the city, the congestion points in the city, the road widening scheme in the city, and the existing traffic patterns, vehicular movement and circulation patterns, and based on that improvement are made. Open space surveys is very important, in which we look at the parks or you can say open spaces within the streets, how much open spaces are given for landscaping, for trees and plantation, how much is the open spaces available in a neighborhood, and whether there is a park or neighborhood park or not. Then there occurs a union council survey where you look at the union council and what kind of open spaces or public social spaces are available. Then you take the town survey and look at the town level, whether there is a town level park or not, or whether there are open spaces at town or at town level or not. Then you take a city survey and look at the urban parks or city parks available, or a major, you can say, open spaces within the city for social interaction and for different functions of the society. Then comes industrial survey. Industrial survey, you look at different kinds of industries, industries, minor industries, medium-sized industries, and large industries. Whether these are existing in the city center or outside, or where the industries are located, whether they are polluting the overall environment or not, what is the condition of the industries overall in town and outside the town, because large industries are located outside the city. So we look at the industrial conditions of the city and the overall region, so as we can understand that what kind of pollutions we are dealing with and what kind of waste they are generating and how do we control them and how can we improve the environment. So based on that, industrial survey is conducted. Concerning housing survey is of various types, because housing is of various types. There is low income housing, there is medium income housing, there is high income housing. Because low income housing is a lot in the city, so their conditions are very worse. So we look at the building structures, whether how many are the pakka structures or permanent structures, how many are the semi-permanent structures or temporary structures, how many are the kacha structures or the, you can say, structures with temporary materials. And we look at the housing conditions, whether these house conditions are poor, good, very good, or worse. In housing survey, we also analyze that how the people are living, how many people are living in a house, what is the population per house, what is the population per room, how many people are living in a room, so as we can understand the overall living condition, housing condition, and whether the social services for housing are available or not. It include the utilities, the wastewater disposal, the water supply, the electricity, the gas, the telephone, and look at the parks, playground, public spaces within the housing, and the small commercial areas or shopping area for the housing, for the daily, you can say, utilities. And then in housing survey, we also look at the overall condition of the social condition of the people. In landscape survey, we look at the overall landscape, its composition, how much is the built space, how much is the open space, what is the open built ratio, how much is the trees and what kind of trees are planted, what kind of landscape is done, whether there is a street furniture or not, and whether there are places for social interaction or not. Then we look at the population survey. As I told you, it is a census survey where population characteristics or demographic characteristics are obtained. It means that how much is the dependent population, how much is the independent population, and how much is the young people, how much is the old people, how much the middle-aged people, what is their overall condition, the job condition, their occupations, their health, their education, etc., etc. Then comes public services survey. In public services, there are various services such as health services, education services, as well as infrastructure services. That people are having good infrastructure, good health condition, or worse health condition, or good education condition, or worse health condition. Whether schools are provided, the primary schools are near to the housing or not, whether the colleges and universities are available or not, and which kind of college, university, and educational institutions are required, basic healthcare units are there or not, or other, you can say, clinics and hospitals are available or not, public and private hospitals, what are their conditions, overall situation, etc. Then land cultivation survey. It is very important that we should have a understanding about how much food the city is producing and how much it is dependent on the rural area. Mostly city have the urban horticulture and urban agriculture also, but there are dependency on the rural areas for the sake of food and food items. Then we look at the health condition survey. This is very important, that what kind of diseases are available or existing in the existing population, what are they doing about it, what are the facilities available to them, what are the treatment facilities available to them, whether there is a pandemic or you can say there is any kind of health illness for the people, and what can be done about it. Then furthermore, the socio-economic survey is the key survey and foundation stone of town planning. in which a town is divided into unit council or wards and blocks, and then each block further subdivided into streets, and each street has a number of houses. This survey is conducted through a survey pro forma or a questionnaire. So let's look at the sample survey pro forma for socioeconomic survey, and it is given as follows. This is the sample pro forma for socioeconomic survey. It is not the perfect survey. It is just a sample. You can have addition in this survey form. When the people are doing different kind of survey, they do additions. For example, at first, in which you provide the basic information, in which you write the statement that whether what is the purpose of your research and why you are conducting the survey. Because before you conduct the survey, you take consent from the people that whether they wanted to participate in the survey or not. And in democratic societies, it is important that people's will is always giving priority. So then there is, when you conduct a survey, you have a surveyor's name in this pro forma and the supervisor's name in the pro forma, in which ward you are conducting the survey, the ward number, the block number, in block you are surveying, the street number, the building or unit number, and the date of survey. This is the initial information which is provided in the basic socioeconomic survey pro forma. Then there are 5 issues addressed in socioeconomic survey. You can have these housing, you can have the 11 issues, but depends upon the nature of survey. In this, in the first is the housing condition, where you identify the housing number, write the address of the house, then housing condition, poor, good, very good, the number of floors in a building, the age of the house, the plot area, tenancy status, whether it is rented, owned, or rent per month. Then you study about the family structure, the total number of family members, the male members, the female members, the literacy rate of male and female members, the marital status of males and females, how many are the school going children and college going children, and age groups between 5 and below, 5 to 10, 10 to 25, 25 to 50, and 50 and above. Because the people 50 and above are mostly dependent, and people between 5 to 25 are dependent population. So we can get the dependent population and independent population. Then there are economic characteristics. It includes the total number of earning members in a house, their occupation, the monthly income, the monthly expenditure, the nature of expenditure, the nature of income, the savings, the mode of transport available to them. Then community facilities such as nurseries, primary schools, secondary schools, college, shopping center, parks and open space, club and theaters, religious buildings, post office, police station, dispensary, clinic, hospital, or any other information. In each category, find out the distance from residence and how much is the distance of nursery, shopping center, or post office from the residence. Then utilities survey. In this survey, we conduct survey about water supply, the electricity, the gas, the telephone, the water closet. In each category, find out the type of connection as legal, illegal, private, public, etc. And finally, the survey writes its remarks. Finally, it is important to understand that what is the purpose of or ultimate goal of civic survey. The ultimate goal is to make the town planning or making a beautiful cities. So how to make a beautiful city, an attractive city? Let's watch this video and understand. So you have understood that basically the civic survey is conducted so as we can make cities for the people, by the people, and on the will of the people, not by the rich elites who decide about the, or rich powerful people who decide about how the city will look like. So that's why civic survey is conducted so as people's will be done. Okay, so this is like a town planning's major activity that should be conducted. I must end my lecture here. Thank you very much for listening. I'm your teacher, Ravinder Kumar Khyani, Assistant Professor, Department of Architecture and Planning, NED University of Engineering Technology, Karachi, Sindh, Pakistan. These are the references which I have consulted, and I must acknowledge these authors for writing the beautiful books and from which I have prepared this lecture. Finally, I must remind you, please do regular reading, and for detailed lecture notes, visit my blog www.townplanninglectures.blogspot.com.